by the doctor and then by me. I did have to take the Tylenol codeine yesterday evening, but but it's actually been like 4 or 5 days since I've had to take the prescription medication. I've just been relying on ibuprofen for now.
Okay, so those first few days you did take prescription meds, and then you were able to shift to over-the-counter?
Yes.
Okay. Have you done anything other than warm baths? Have you done ice or other types of things to address swelling and pain?
Yes. What he did say, Beth, is to, for the first 3 days, I want to ice it. And then thereon after, once I start the warm baths, to not ice, but just stick with the warm baths. He did say, try to make the baths as hot as you could possibly stand.
Okay.
And the baths are just a great relief.
And do you actually, in that warm bath, and I know this is just 1 day since you were kind of given the go-ahead to do some inflate-deflate, but do you do the inflate-deflate in the warm bath? Do you actually do it while you're in the water?
Well, I didn't know because I haven't actually, my first time, I just saw the doctor yesterday, so my first time inflating and deflating will be this evening. And I do plan to do it right after a warm bath.
Okay. At this point, are you off work? If you're working full time, have you been out of the house? Kind of what's your activity level at this stage?
Well, I'm not scheduled to go back to work for another week. My activity level has been pretty much just kind of hanging around the house. I did yesterday go on a lengthy walk, maybe an hour walk with my 2 dogs in the evening last night. So that's really been the most that I've pushed myself physically. But I plan to do that walking again this evening.
Okay. And are you able to get back into jeans or other types of clothing that are not loose and baggy, or are you still kind of in a loose and baggy?
I'm still kind of in a loose and baggy, yeah. It's much more comfortable.
And again, kind of an early question to be asking given the stage you're at, but do you have a sense yet for length and girth and what result you believe you will have with that?
Well, what I can tell you is that my length and girth actually now is greater than before I had the implant. But definitely, there's definitely a pretty significant difference between my flaccid state pre-implant and now my flaccid state post-implant.
Okay. Any sense of what an erect state would be? Is an erect state also initial? And I understand you have very little experience yet with that, but did you have a sense from the one experience whether or not it looked like erect it would be similar or greater than?
My impression was that by my limited experience inflating it, my impression was that the girth was going to be a little greater post-implant than pre-implant, but the length was going to be a little shorter post-implant versus pre-implant.
Okay.
And that was kind of my,
I'll wrap.
and that was kind of, a question that I, in talking to my wife that I posed for my wife, because I did tell her, that I was considering the AMS and the Coloplast, and the Coloplast tends to, according to what I was told by the doctor, add to length, and the AMS tends to add to length, the Coloplast tends to add to girth. Kind of posed that question to her, length or girth, and she said girth in a heartbeat. So.
Okay, all right. How's your wife doing with this? 2 weeks later, what's her impression so far of the